as England goes into a second lockdown, what does that mean for car dealerships? What does that mean for those who are looking to buy cars? We want to respond to this. We're Future Auto Solutions. My name is Steve Todd. This is my brother Gordy Todd. How you doing, Gordy?
I'm doing good. Good morning.
Good, good, good. I'm great, mate. So Gordy, we had a schedule what we're looking to do for Future Auto Solutions video for this week's live stream, but actually, last night, well, Saturday night, it was announced that England was going to go into lockdown from Thursday. We don't know what's going to happen in the US. We don't know what's going to happen in other countries around the world. We saw France is going into lockdown. There's word of Spain, Germany. It's like, so how do car dealerships prepare for this? So you and I bind our heads together and sort of said, like, we probably need to talk about this. And then my question to you is really simple. Well, what are you doing to ensure you're okay, your customers are okay, and you've put together 7 things that really are for the forefront of your mind. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about those 7 things, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, so
Yeah.
what was your? Can I just ask you quickly your gut reaction whenever you heard about the shutdown, lockdown in England? What was going through your head?
Yeah. I mean, we sort of seen it coming. I mean, as you were sort of saying there, Ireland went into full lockdown there sort of a couple of weeks back, Wales as well. So it was sort of coming, but a little disappointed. Obviously, we're going into it again, but just really focused on myself. And obviously, you highlighted the fact that we sort of needed to sort of say, right, what are you going to do to prepare yourself and to make sure you're in the best possible shape if it does come and whenever things do sort of close down again and how you keep the business going. So that was my first sort of where am I at and what am I ready to go, or what have I learned from the past and what I'm going to get ready to do sort of coming in the future, so it's
Yeah, that was going to be my sort of question to you because in essence, right, we've been through this before. There is something we can learn from, look at, right? The first lockdown, with no idea what that meant,
no idea. Yeah,
but now we've sort of we've been able to look back, have some learnings, and sort of see how people are going to engage. So I'm sure that played a lot into your mindset as you come up with these different things.
absolutely.
Yeah. So let me pull up the 7 things, and then we can run through it individually.
Yeah.
So utilizing stock levels. Walk me through what you mean by utilizing stock levels.
Well, my first thing was really over the weekend was to sit down and see, okay, where's my stock level at now? What have I got available, and what have I got sort of coming in that I've committed to either through underwriting from other people? Have I got cars coming from that I purchased from the auctions, just to see exactly where I'm at? So, I mean, they're talking at the minute 4 weeks is what the sort of the lockdown is, looking at. So it's really to see, okay, how can I best head into the 4 weeks and sustain me for the 4 weeks? Because obviously there won't be the opportunity to purchase from auctions and different things like that. So you just need to make sure you're really at your absolute limit. You might as well use up your stock level. If you've got a stock in, you might as well use it up and see what best you can get in and have yourself ready to go into lockdown so that you're ready to sort of go straight out there with some stock and or knowing the stock is very close. So that was my first sort of port of call before we go anywhere, sort of
Yeah.
anywhere else.
So with that then, so are you? So obviously, in England was announced that it's going to be 4 weeks. Are you in your
Yeah.
mind going, this is 4 weeks and only going to be 4 weeks long, or are you going, how am I going to get as many cars as I can to get me through the next 4 weeks or beyond that? Right? Where's
Yeah.
your mind?
So you got to look at it of what we know. So we know it's 4 weeks. That's what we know. After that, you don't know. I mean, they can extend it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So at that particular point, you're going to be where you are because unfortunately, you can't sort of adjust right then with this level of buying cars or getting cars in. So really, what I'm looking at is 4 weeks. That's what we know and where we're at, and really sort of that's what I'm planning for. And obviously the last time we went into lockdown, no one knew how long it was going to be for, so you were just adjusting constantly in the period. So that this particular time we know it's 4 weeks, so I have a 4 week plan in my head of where it's going to take me to. It's going to take us to the 2nd of December or something like that, so at least you know where you're at with it. So
Yeah, my fear is because of the period there after that. right? You move into the holiday season, into the Christmas period, and I understand the reluctance in the government to sort of really interfere, well, not interfere, but who wants to hear today that actually we're going to go through lockdown over the
Absolutely, you
Christmas
can't.
period? And my fear is that this will extend through that period. I think they'll do whatever they can to allow people to move around and see family members over the holiday period, given the year that we've had. But I just wonder, will it be longer? But I appreciate the fact that you're saying, okay, we can only react to what we know. And obviously in the US, there is no lockdown here. You can discuss the merits as to why there should or whether there shouldn't be. We're not here to sort of discuss those things, but I think it's important that US dealerships have a plan by following these steps. Yes, again, we don't know, and what you said there is we only know what we know. Therefore, the dealerships here are thinking, okay, we only know what we know, but I think they need to be listening to this and going through these things as well.
Yeah, but and also, I mean, these things aren't things that we don't do on a daily basis anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Great
That
point.
that's
Yeah,
that's the,
yeah,
it's best practices. It's maybe it's the adjustments that we made, yes, when we went into lockdown, but it's also things that we found out that actually help and make our business stronger. So, although yes, we're planning for the lockdown, but it's best practices, and it's not something we don't do day and daily. So
No, and it's a great point, and we're going to get to some of the strategies that you've noted later, because in essence, you're going to say, so how do we survive if it is beyond the 4 weeks? So it is important to
absolutely.
sort of think about that. So, number two, record a short video highlighting how you will operate through the coming weeks. I think this is a great thing, and I know you sent out a video during the last lockdown. You put something together, you sent it out to your community. And this is the beautiful thing about using social media, because you can have that one-on-one conversation. Your
Absolutely.
community can really see, okay, oh, Gordy, I know him. You've got this personal relationship. A little video out to them just to see how it goes. Or tell them how you're
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, no, I mean, I put that out. It was probably 3 weeks into the lockdown. So, I mean, I was a wee bit caught back, and obviously sort of went with the, okay, no one's doing anything. And then I sort of sat back and went, hold on a second, there is opportunities and we can still function in a different way. So I think really what we do is I'm preparing a video that I'm going to put out straight away, as soon as things sort of come to some sort of conclusion what's going to happen. And what it is really just to sort of say, look, listen, yes, okay, we're in lockdown, but it's a positive message to say that, I'm still operating and I have systems and processes put in place to keep everybody safe, but continue on, what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, things have to keep going. Businesses have to keep functioning in a different manner or a different way, and people still have needs. Cars still, need replaced, or there's an issues, or Christmas is coming, so it's there's different things that people might be thinking about. So it's although we're going into 4 weeks of lockdown and we're all trying to stay safe, there's ways and means, and really the video is just really to highlight what we've done in the past, what we're doing every day, and what we continue to do in the 4 weeks, or whatever the lockdown sort of period
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah, and I think I think that's great guidance, and I think it's also we have to acknowledge that the emotional connection to the first lockdown is very different to the emotional connection to the second lockdown. It almost would have been, I think, wrong to have done a video sooner during the first lockdown. Where
yeah,
the second
yeah,
lockdown, everyone kind of knows what to expect. We all know the behaviors that people are going to have. We've all been through this before, so I think it's great guidance to get one out there straight away, so that you can have a conversation with the community.
yeah,
But I just
exactly.
did, yeah, yeah. Okay, schedule
Yeah.
your posts.
Yeah, so really, I mean, obviously, I'm not really into scheduling posts. I don't sort of set them up to go on a certain time. But I think at this particular point, I think you need to talk more to people and have a
Hmm.
more sort of structured, every day. And sometimes I would sort of go maybe 1 or 2 days without anything going out. So I think really just planning and focusing on what you're going to try and, your message each day, whether it is a post in the car, whether it's a little sort of video, or something just to sort of that you're communicating, and obviously the message is a wee bit more sort of consistent, every day and throughout, so that you are maintaining that connection, and people aren't going into lockdown and forgetting, and and moving on. So it's just been a wee bit more sort of planned and I put schedule, but if you understand what I mean, is that you're planning ahead of, okay, tomorrow this is what we're going to try and focus on Thursday and whatever. Do you know what I mean? That sort of way. So I think it's
Yeah.
just important to
Yeah, no, no, I was going to say,
have
I
that
think
in mind.
and it's more of deliberate, right? Deliberate communication over communicating, right? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's to your
Yeah.
point. It's a similar message to your video, right? You're keeping your community informed of what things are going on, letting them know you're still around and you're still there should they
Yeah.
need you. So I think it's a great thing. It really is. And then we're going to think about the time of year. The time of the year and the market around it. I think that's really, really important because, you know, this is the time of year where I'm sure around that holiday period is a busy time. A lot of people, obviously, registrations coming to an end, and all those different things are going to run from
Yeah.
different places around the world. So that always plays into how markets are being sold.
Yeah, and also I think, I mean, even when when you're advertising and marketing, I've noticed on one of my first sort of sign-ups last week there that the first payment is actually coming out now till the new year. So, you've got the whole marketing of, get the car, pay nothing to, till January, which means it takes people out of the mindset of we're in 4 weeks or we're in a lockdown of period of time. It's, oh, it's next year. It's not actually in this year. And I know that's psychology and that's sort of an idea, but it's you might as well play on it and work with it, and I think at this sort of in this message of where we are with money and stuff, I think it's a good news message to be putting out that, we can get the cars, we can advertise things for, first time drivers, the present, you're only paying X amount of pounds, but it doesn't come out until the new year. And it's stopping people because people are thinking about, Christmas shopping and what they're going to get for people and how am I going to get these things, and what I mean, things like that. It's something out there that you can put out and sort of play on it and sort of and work
Yeah,
with
no,
it, so
I think it's great. I think it's great, mate. So then positive messages, right? Which I guess
yeah.
nicely dovetails into what you were saying.
Yeah, it's positive messages. I think also, if you are doing business over the period when you're in lockdown, I think it's important to put. I actually got quite a few reviews of people through the last lockdown when they were getting their cars and how I assisted them and how I made it easy for them, how they felt when they were dealing with it. So I think if you can continue to do those sort of good news messages, when customers are collecting cars, I'm not a big advocate of it, showing people picking up cars, but I think at this particular time I think it's important to show that people are still buying cars. So I think, if you're able to, whenever you're doing a handover, when you're doing, celebrate it with the customer and, and put them on your Facebook and like and share it, because at the end of the day, it's important people see things are still moving forward, and it's not lockdown, it's not doom and gloom, and it's not, no one can do anything. I think right now it's about putting out the message and also putting out the message that you're doing it safely and within the law and within all the regulations that's being sort of put out in place by the government.
Yeah, no, that's it's great things. So then, and then plan how your appointments work. These are all dovetailing nicely, Gordy. So,
Yeah.
what sort of
So really,
how do you communicate that plan to your employee to your
yeah.
customers?
Whenever I'm sort of getting inquiries, I mean, I highlight the fact that, okay, people always ask me, are you still operating? Are you working? Can I see a car? How do I test drive a car? So I mean, it's really just about sort of setting out the picture and showing them, what way you're going to work, where you're going to show the cars, how the cars have been, sterilized, been wiped down, how they can have a look around the car without me being anywhere near them. Just giving everybody a sort of overview picture, how things, paperwork and docs can all be done, remotely. I can send them via email. The finance companies do it directly to them. There's so many ways to do business where you don't actually need to be sitting in an office face to face across the table from somebody. So it's just really making sure I have an understanding and a process that I know that I'm comfortable with and I'm confident with. And then obviously then me being able to relay out the customer whenever you get the message and handling inquiry properly, So
Yeah,
that's
and
what.
I guess part of your video messaging could be simply running through what is your protocol, how do you do it, what does that process look like, and then I have to
Absolutely.
imagine that you're an independent salesperson, so you basically are the only person they're going to interact with, so they could have a message
Absolutely.
with you, come to see you, you give them reassurance that you'll be the only person that they'll be interacting with, which I think
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
great thing of giving customers comfort.
Yeah.
Yep. And then plan how your appointments will work. So there we go.
Yeah. Well, no, that we just did. We just covered that
We
week.
just okay, good. All right. Yeah, at least you're keeping us on track. And then use
No,
your
that's
network to
it.
sell customer stock.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we've covered this in videos before. It's just really where I use networks. And a lot of dealerships do close over lockdown. They did. I mean, I find this quite a lot over the last lockdown. They had to close, or they closed because of staff. Or but I use this is more really when we're sort of thinking. You asked the question, are you planning for the 4 weeks? Or are you
Mm-hmm.
planning into the, because at the end of the day, depending where you're at right now and what level of stock you have, if you do start selling cars through lockdown, you can't replenish. So it's really just having a wee idea, thinking outside the box of, what stock am I going to be able to advertise? What am I going to be able to offer people? Um, Obviously through the videos, I have a network of dealerships where I've approached and different people that I run a parallel with, where I have a profit share, so I can advertise and I can plan ahead. Okay, that I have enough stock to advertise one a day, two a day, to a certain point, and then it's about, okay, I need to start thinking, where am I going to get sort of new stock and look like we're sort of moving forward. So it's really just using up every sort of friendship, business colleagues, or things that you build up along the line about sort of
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, you're going to be helping them because they're closed or they're not operating. So it's really just about having that sort of extra sort of string to your bow where you have more stock and you have sort of more opportunity to advertise and sort of look like things are still operating and still moving forward.
Yeah, no, it's important. It's important, and I think you were very creative last time to find alternative ways of procuring cars, and I think people do
Yeah,
need to be creative. Obviously, if it's a 4 week period, people can plan for that, but if it goes beyond that, then obviously that's where it becomes issues. So I think
absolutely.
So I think if we summarize, that's the British market. I think the US market. I think people have to be thinking about this, whether it comes immediately post the election, after the election, with a week or two delay. I think we have to envision that, given the numbers that we have here in the US, that something will need to be done to sort of stem the tide of what's going on out there. But I think it's great to have these seven things that you've identified. This is what you're doing. This is what you will be doing, and this is your plan as you move forward. So, all right. So
Yeah.
look, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, no, I also just think it's good to highlight that we're going to try and revisit it next week, see where we
Yep.
are with it,
Yep. Yep.
see, where we've come with, if we're in lockdown, what sort of steps have taken and where we are with levels of stock and sort of our plan forward for the next sort of incoming week, just to
Yep.
really to keep a track of it and see what's happening.
Yeah, so if to do subscribe to the channel, you will and get notification bells so you get alerted to these things because we're very transparent. We do believe in a process that we're doing, we're following, and it is a little bit different, but we are very transparent. So we will provide different things and different metrics. So any questions you have, do reach out to us, and yeah, look forward to catching up next week, Ori.
You too. Have a good
Cheers,
one.
mate. Thanks, mate.